en el mismo Office. Entonces, pues que si vos estás al tanto de eso, si te comentaron a vos eso, o solamente me lo comentaron a mí. Hello everyone, this is Sandeep Singh. Que me pasaste esa información, me hiciste la consulta. I'm going to share my screen in a bit. Just give me 1 sec. Sí. All right, everyone. Welcome to the session. Hope you're able to see my screen. If you're not able to see my screen, just let me know. Okay. So, welcome to this session, and this session is about accelerating your career in the field of AI. And this mainly applies to the people who are already working in tech or areas related to the tech, or they want to switch their tech profile to more of a mainstream role. And we are going to discuss little bit about me. I am head of applied AI and computer vision at Kickstart AI. We are based out of Palo Alto, California, and we are building extremely hyper accurate map with a lot of location intelligence data used by world's top logistic companies. And these are my coordinates. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or you can directly email me. I'm more than happy to engage. Yeah, before we start, I think I can hear somebody's microphone. So I'll really appreciate if you can turn off your microphone. It seems I'm hearing a lot of noise in background. A renovarse estas cosas. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. I hope everybody is able to hear me, and let's start the session. So this is the agenda for the talk today. We are going to discuss few of the myths about AI, and we are going to discuss different roles in AI, machine learning, and deep learning, and what's their differentiation between them. And next, we'll discuss the transitioning into this new AI-based role, and what does it mean to transition, and what are the steps and details about that. And of course, I'm going to discuss what are the exact and concrete technical skills needed for different roles, and what you can do about it, and what does it mean basically to have that skill. More often than not, it is not what people assume that you have to know, because different people contribute in different capacity, and I'm going to shed light on that. And again, I will talk about how to navigate the AI job market, and upskilling and advancing in AI. Once you start working in AI, what should you do then? Because this domain is ever changing, and state of art moves faster than what you can imagine. And few of the ethical consideration we'll discuss, and towards the end of the course, I'm going to discuss exact courses or the links and resources which you should be using, and how to go from there, like how to engage with the community, how to find a mentor, how to start mentoring others, what are the benefit, pros and cons, and pitfalls there, and then we'll conclude our session. So let's start. I have roughly around 40 more minutes, so we'll go from there. Okay, give me a sec. Okay. So first, myths about career in AI. And of course, one of the most famous myth is that AI is only for individuals with PhDs or very advanced degrees in maths or computer science. And this cannot be far from the truth. Um, and I can say this with very much confidence because I am here right at the epicenter of Silicon Valley, and I meet professionals every single day. We are contribute, and they are contributing in a extremely impactful way, but not many of them have advanced degrees like these. In fact, I would say 80% of the people working in AI do not hold advanced degrees which have PhDs or masters from top-notch universities across the globe. You just need mostly uh, basic programming acumen if you want to go to the developer side of the stack. But if you just want to go on more of the um, managerial or individual contributor in non-developer capacity, you definitely don't need these advanced degrees. And many people will tell you that this is the case, but they will not tell you how you can engage. So I'm just going to cut that haze, and you'll be able to know how to engage with that. And other myth is that only developers or coders can transition into AI easily. While this is not the true, in fact, it's other way. The other people who are not working in a hardcore development field, uh, it is comparatively easier for them to switch into the AI roles than to the hardcore developers, because developers have to bite much more bigger slice to be able to create product from the scratch. And so I would say there are a lot of roles in this domain, and you have a lot of potential, so don't worry about it if you're planning to move into AI. And third myth is AI will eliminate the jobs. And again, this is a little bit of exaggeration. So what does it means? It means that uh, so there's a saying, right? Effect of technology is always overestimated in short term, while underestimated in long term. So what it means to you, if you're willing to have a career in AI, is that uh, not immediately overnight all the jobs will be switched to the AI in near future, but it is guaranteed that um, a person work using AI to do their job will replace uh, your job. So it's better to be equipped with the AI and use these tools of innovation to complement your job. Uh, so in short, if you do not use AI, you will be replaced by somebody using AI to do the same job. Okay, so move on to the next. So I've dedicated a separate slide here, just to emphasize the concept that biggest myth about the career in AI is that you need to know a lot of math, algebra, calculus, statistics, and probability to become an AI professional. And this is absolutely incorrect. So um, you need to know just the building blocks of AI to do a lot of roles, but you do not necessarily have to have a great mathematical or algebra or calculus understanding to do the job and to do the impactful contribution in this field. This is absolutely incorrect. Anybody who says that, probably he has not created um, products from the real life production setup, because when you do products, AI products in production, there are a lot of roles which needs to be done, and then you don't have to know other stuff. I can hear some background noise. I'm not sure if you can hear it. um, okay, so I can, yeah, I think it was coming from somebody. I muted them, sorry about that. um, let's go. So okay, so this slide is a little bit of mouthful, but please bear with me. Uh, why I have made it too verbose is that I want to give you single snapshot of what sort of roles available which are specific to AI. And in the next slide, I'm going to discuss the roles which are about transitioning from your current role to these one of these roles, or having the flair of your current role, which embodies one of the aspects of these roles. So, of course, first role is AI research scientist. So what does it mean by AI research scientist? So there are two types of AI research scientists in the market. One is, of course, the one which extends the fields, invents new things, new algorithms, new models, and the approaches which have not been invented. But the amount of people working in AI and doing this role is probably less than 1%, the who are actually doing meaningful extension to the field. So there are very few, and until you do not hold masters or PhD at least, I would not recommend targeting for this role. While you can well do these roles, but because all the top research labs normally they prefer people from the top academic institutions holding PhDs, preferably at least masters. So that's a very niche role, not for bigger population who can adopt to that. Um, and the next role is a machine learning engineer. This you can imagine as a nothing but a software developer for machine learning. He will have a lot of deep learning and machine learning and AI understanding, but these are basically people who write a lot of code. They do not create new algorithm. They basically use the algorithms available to do the task at hand. And same for the deep learning engineers. So what happens nowadays, these terms deep learning engineer and machine learning engineer are being used interchangeably. What does it mean? It means you cannot say that you know deep learning but you don't know machine learning, and vice versa. So these roles are almost same, uh, but in definition, it means deep learning engineers work mainly on the neural networks, while machine learning engineer use traditional and newish form of machine learning algorithm using a lot of frameworks available. And the next role is data scientist. So data scientist, I would say, is the most misunderstood term in the field of AI. What does it mean? It's not just by the people working in the field. It's also the recruiters and the companies who post job openings. They misuse this term, and when somebody says, "I'm a data scientist," it opens such a wide spectrum of possibilities that you don't know what they do. But by definition, in the field of AI, the people who are working in this domain, it basically means the people who can analyze your data and derive insights from your data. So I would say data scientists in traditional sense are like business intelligence people. It's they are uh, mostly about deriving information from the data. They are less about doing deep learning or machine learning or research scientist, all three roles above. While in companies, they post a job opening and the topic will be data scientist, but they really mean uh, deep learning engineer or machine learning engineer or AI research scientist. But data scientist basically means you derive information from the data by doing various statistical tools, plotting, charting, and many tree-based models and so on. It not necessarily means you'll be developing or implementing software for deploying in the production. You'll be mainly deriving the insights from the data. And the next type of roles are AI software development, program management, and testing. Uh, and this is the field where a lot of opportunities are there, but not many people know what exactly to to do to get into these roles, and that's where today's discussion is going to be about. And I will guide you with a concrete information what to do, how to go about it. And there are roles like AI architect and AI specialist. And AI architect basically, um, you can, in traditional software sense, you can imagine it as a like system design work for deploying an AI solution. um, and it is very much like the traditional architects, but only thing you do different here is like you help deploy the AI solution instead of the traditional software work. So there is not much difference. A person doing traditional software architect work can very well transition into the AI architect roles, and it's not much of difference. While AI specialist is a little bit about more specific and niche field. For example, if you become a AI engineer working for specific robotics or a mapping company or anything specific type of, for example, hardware company using AI techniques. So that will be more of the AI specialist. Um, but those roles are very less in number, and if you're just transitioning, you should not target them. It's for the people who are using AI in their current role while doing the job which they were doing previously, but they just adopted few fields. So these are very specialist people, and it happens more of because they happen to be in that role and so on. And again, the business intelligence developers. So we know that BI developers have been there around for like more than 2 decades. Um, but now I would say no role will be transformed more than BI developers, because BI developers now will not need to set up a dashboard and do traditional types of SQL work and other stuff. In fact, they will just be forced to think on the problem harder and ask more meaningful questions rather than spending time doing the Excel sheet or database queries and setting up the dashboard. For example, doing all the BI tools like Talio and whatnot. It's going to change forever with the advent of all these technologies. An AI ethics officer. So AI ethics officer is still emerging role. What does it mean? It means that all the compliance, regulation, HR, policy, all those type of role, they will be forced to adopt to AI standards. What does it mean? It means they have to learn the how the AI software works and the wide effect they can have on your company, on your customer base, and they have to start enforcing these technologies, effect and manage them in a way where they are not creating havoc in society or in your company or for your customers. So these are the few umbrella terms which I wanted to discuss before I go ahead. Let's go to the next slide. So this slide is I would say, main slide of this presentation, other than the resources which I'll share. Uh, what does it mean? Uh, I would say every single existing role in software tech stack can be transitioned into AI as it is. What does it mean? It means AI is just another software. So the difference between the how we write AI software versus traditional software, in traditional software, you have an input, you write the program, and that program takes input and emits the output. While in a field of AI, you have input and output data, and using that input and output data, your program is discovered by running a lot of compute. So with help of input and output, you write the program uh, with less control over what the program will look like. While in traditional software, you just have input and you write the program, all the if else, everything you decide, you know discretely what's how the flow is, and output is emitted from that program. So what it means that all the existing software roles, they have to understand uh, AI's basic terminology for sure. What does it mean? So I have written that AI MLDL is like new SQL. For example, if you work in a tech company, no matter what role you play, you're CEO, CTO, or individual contributor on any role, you cannot say you do not understand SQL, right? Everybody has to know, understand what is SQL and how to interact with them and so on. Very few people who have liberty of not knowing SQL. And this exactly what will happen to the AI. In fact, it is happening in the bigger companies like Google, Microsoft, Adobe, and Facebook, and every big company. You cannot say you do not understand the basic terminologies of AI. Everybody has to understand. And the reason being, the effects of these softwares are going to be wide affecting. And uh, every single team will be using machine learning or deep learning in some format. For example, every single team in software uses the database in some capacity, right? So they cannot say, "Oh, I don't. Our team does not need to know the database." Similarly, it's going to happen with AI, ML, and DL. So you have to know at least the basic terminologies of this domain, regardless of your role. For example, managers, director, VPs, all types of managers have to be equipped with the AI capabilities. For example, if their engineers say to them, "Oh, I'm having overfitting," so it's their responsibility to understand what does it mean. Or they will say, "Oh, I'm having high variance," or I'm having a leakage. They do not need to know how to do those things, but they have to understand what does it mean, what is the implication, how's their it's going to affect their timeline, what can be done about it, and so on. It's absolutely necessary for them to know. That is why all the line managers, director, VPs, it's urgent need for them to understand these technologies. um, it's very important. And in fact, all the recruiters, they have to understand how these technologies, different terminologies, differ from each other. For example, when they need to recruit for some particular role, and they see a CV and it has everything written on it, but they have to read the exact work and try to decipher what exactly he has been using and what he does. And by talking to the candidate in 15 minutes, they will know what exactly he does, which stack of the AI MLDL he works. Because this domain is mammoth now. There are a lot of different roles and technologies and so on. And same for operation and infrastructure people. They need to know what sort of environment for DL and ML deployments is needed. And I'm again getting okay. Okay. So, yeah, they have to know all the operations and infrastructure people, all the database and data store professionals. They need to know all the data engineering terminologies. They cannot say, "Oh, we are just the database team. We don't deal with AI, ML data needs." They have to know all the latest and greatest tools available in data engineering tech stack. And the next one is a project and product managers. I cannot emphasize how much project and product managers need to treat this urgently. If and if they don't, probably their jobs will be at risk. What does it mean? It means that um, main value proposition project and product people or managers bring on the table that uh, project people, they manage all the pieces, different tasks, they imagine what are the pieces and how's the progress, while the product managers are responsible for envisioning the features and where the project can go, what can be implemented, what cannot be implemented. And all these things are only possible if you understand the different pieces of AI/ML, especially when you know, as a matter of fact, every single team is going to use this project. Like it will have some sort of AI sprinkled on it. Why I say this? Because if you see all the bigger companies like Google and Facebook and Apple per se, um, they're I cannot imagine they have a product which is not using AI and ML. And that is why every single product manager or project manager, they have to know. what piece of work is being done, what feature needs to be developed, and so on. So it's very urgent for them to understand these technologies. And similarly for the build and deployment orchestration resources, because typically what have been happening, no matter what software is being developed, pretty much build and deployment CI/CD pipeline looks same. Similar orchestrations were used. We use same tools, Mavins, Jenkins, and whatnot, Node.js. But now, with advent of machine learning and deep learning, these deployments and build pipelines are going to be looking very different because of the nature of the software in AI ML. And this whole domain is called ML Ops, and it is a very good domain to transition into if you're just starting your career in this domain and you want to transition to. And again, all the business roles, they are going to be affected a lot, and there's a lot of opportunity in this domain, in the sense, because nowadays there is no customer which is not talking about the AI. Every customer is talking about AI, and you don't want to be in the place where customer knows more AI than you do, because your responsibility as sales or pre-sales people have to enable customers regarding your products. So a lot of time the customers will have a questions like, can it be done in your product? And it's your responsibility to know beforehand that what are the possibilities, what can be done, what cannot be done, and so on. So it's very important for business roles, sales, pre-sales people to know the basic building blocks of AI, which I'll share a few resources with. Um, and the next one are privacy, compliance, regulatory roles. So these roles, there are a lot of existing roles in the compliance, HR, uh, corporate finance, and so on. But there will be slew of new roles coming in. So if you're already working in these roles, it's highly recommended that you go and learn basics of AI so you can understand what terminologies and involves and so on. Okay, so transitioning into AI, a journey. What I envision here is that transitioning into AI is not like you just do something and you're done. In fact, this process of transitioning in AI will be built like a pyramid. What will happen when you're building the lower level of pyramids? You won't see much progress. But while you're building the higher level of pyramids, you will see the progression in heights very faster. And that's what you have to have in your mindset. That when you start working, you will say, "Oh, I'm doing a lot of things, but I'm not seeing much progress." But this progress will be visible and perceivable much faster in the later part of your journey. These are the few suggestions which I have for you. To start your transition journey into AI. Of course, understand the basics of AI, ML, DL concepts. What does it mean? I'll tell you in a few later slides what courses you can take, what resources you can use, and fundamentals of programming or programming thinking, preferably Python. What does it mean? It means that you don't necessarily have to be a programmer, but you have to know what involves in programming if you're not going for a hardcore developer role. For example, uh, first you will do the experimentation, then you will write, then you will debug all these steps and the challenges involved. You just should have just a basic understanding of these. You don't have to really a programmer per se. And other thing I want to say on this topic is that learning Python is like learning English. So what does it mean? It means that if you know English, you know half the Python, because Python is very simple language to learn. It's a simpler than SQL. It's simpler than anything. For example, in a lot of companies, they have mandatory Python courses for many employees, and they just want the length of that course is just 1 hour. So you can imagine how simple that Python learning is. It's not, in fact, a lot of finance and legal departments, they have a requirement in a lot of courses. You must know Python. For example, there's a certification called Chartered Financial Analyst, CFA, and their Python have become the mandatory part of their algorithm because it's very easy to learn even for anybody who have never done in programming or so on. And deepen your learning in the areas of interest. Choose which area you want to work: computer vision, natural language, robotics, numerical data, etc. If you want, you can give try to few of them, and you will come to know what you like and you don't like. And get hands-on experience by choosing the problem of your interest and exposure. How to do that, I'll tell in later slides. And apply your skills to the real world projects. Don't just do the academic or toy projects. And it's much easier to do than what you can imagine. I'll share a few resources. Participate in hackathons and coding challenges. This might sound a little intimidating for others, but what I would say, what does it mean to participate in hackathons? Okay, you can be a ninja programmer and you can go to hackathon and whip up a solutions and do other things. And other thing is that in every project there is a lot of project management and planning, tracking, that sort of things. So if you're not, even if you're not a programmer, just show up to these hackathons, join some team. People are very accepting in these meetups and hackathons, and just be a part of process. You might not really write a code, but you'll be there to participate, sort, plan, track, and other stuff, and it will be much more fun than what you can imagine. Just show up and participate. It's much more fruitful than what you can imagine, regardless of whether you're a programmer or not. And consider internship and roles that provide the practical experience. If you are not able to engage in your current role, you can very much find roles outside, remote roles, and so on. I would say AI and ML is the most um, open source type of culture where you can participate and build your own network and community, go to meetups and so on. So these are the basic building blocks. Let's go to the next step. Essential technical skills for AI professional. What? So there are different roles. So that is why I have created the four groups here. We can say programming and software. So if you are a software developer, or the project planning or a solution architect, and you have a little bit of proficiency in one of the programming language, you can very well go to the um, AI programming and software stack easily. So these are the people who will become AI software developer machine. And another group is machine learning and deep learning group, where algorithms, neural networks, libraries, TensorFlow and PyTorch, and those sort of skills are needed. You can acquire them to become machine learning and deep learning engineer. While data engineering is altogether a different thing, where you data planning, licensing, data processing, and building visualizations, analysis, and ethical consideration. And that's altogether a different data engineering domain. And the last part is mathematics and statistics group, where very basics of linear algebra, calculus, probability, and statistics. Not necessarily deep knowledge of all of these, but these are the four groups of skills which you can acquire a little bit of each group, and that's all the essential skills of AI professionals. So just to review, understand the basic algorithms. Not necessarily you have to write them. All you have to do is use them using the frameworks. If you're willing to go for a more deeper role, if you are in a software, you already have the top right group of skills. Data engineering is also together a different domain. If you want to become in data engineering domain uh, professional, then you can just go there and acquire these skills. And there is a mathematics and statistics. I would say this is the one of the most misunderstood part. It is much more easier to acquire the basic, very basics of linear algebra, because it's what I'm saying very basic. I means like maybe 10th grade algebra, not much. For example, how to multiply two matrices, and it's not much. Calculus, very basic calculus, like in the sense, what does it mean to have a gradient, and there is nothing much to be understood there. Probability, the common probability understanding, and statistics, um, not needed much to do the practical role, but it's good to know sort of thing. So what will happen if you do that? You might not know you know much, but so that will be sufficient to do some many different roles in AI. Navigating the AI job market. So what I I purposefully made this slide very simple because I just wanted to highlight three words of interest. Identify your strengths and interests, what you are really interested in, whether you're interested in computer vision, NLP, enterprise data, or whatever. Just find what you're interested in and build your career or transition into that area. And then once you know what strengths and interests, just build a portfolio matching that interest. And once you have built the portfolio, network with a professional in the same similar domain, and keep repeating this cycle. Because what will happen, once you build your portfolio, you meet more people, you will know what you might get interested in more, and then you again build a new portfolio, and so on. So this cycle will keep going. How you navigate your job market, you do not just build your CV and start hunting for job. You just find what you want to work, you start working on that, as a side project or in your company's side project, and then you meet people like that and you understand what does it entail to work in that field, and so on. So this, just remember these things: interest, portfolio, and network. Find what you want to do, build your portfolio. I'm going to tell you how to do that, and network, and so on. Yeah, upskilling and advancing in AI. What does it mean? So it means that you work on some personal project. It can be very well the project of development, or it can be just discovery project, or using somebody else's code or deployment, and so on. Then work on your personal project. And if you are out of ideas what to work on, just then join a Kaggle, and there are a lot of uh, classroom as well as the competitive competitions happening, and you can join them. You can see the solutions of the old projects and try to build on top of them. Then just run the code and see the solution and understand. And they have a lot of courses as well, you can use them. And join online courses and certificate programs. So this second topic is not just about joining and getting a certificate has no value if you don't have a knowledge. So what it basically means, find your community online. And in AI/ML, this is really the main way of engaging with the community. While physically you can go, but not necessarily you will have a meaningful connection every time. But online you can really build your community and get benefited from that. And if possible, attend conferences and workshop, because these conferences and workshops are very concentrated, and they have some sort of theme, and you will know actually whether your understanding of the topic was same as what industry refers to. And those are very useful engagements. So three things: work on your personal projects, join online courses and certificate programs, and attend conferences and workshops. These are much more useful. And ethical considerations in AI. Understanding of ethical implication of AI is very important. I would recommend that read a book called Weapons of Math Destruction book, because these technologies are, it's like wide affecting, and you have to really know how to uh, put them to the work without disadvantaging yourself or others. And you have to educate others in your company or society that their effect is going to be wide affecting. I would suggest, I just have a one concrete suggestion in this slide, that if you can read this audio book or the physical book, Weapons of Math Destruction, you'll be amazed how much effect AI is already having on our society, and how much it will have on in future. Okay, so probably this is the second most important slide in the whole presentation. So there is like sea of courses and specialization and so on. Uh, and out of all these courses, these are two groups of courses which I would recommend for anybody. And if you see these courses, these are for different people of different interests. For example, AI for medicine is specialization. It's for people who wants to explore or already work in medical field. And there are a few for natural language specialization. or some for generative AI, and some for deep learning engineering or machine learning engineer. And from Stanford University, these are the courses whose content is available for free. Their professors and TAs have generously provided all the contents available online. If you search, you'll find them. And these are the four courses which I will recommend. Pick and choose. I would say do at least one of the top two and then choose the one of the bottom one, or both you can do. But these are the only two courses I recommend if you're really new and want to build your career. And there is a one more course which I'm going to discuss in next slide. And you can see there is already like a lot of courses. So in this single slide, I would say more than 25 to 26 courses, because each specialization have 5 courses and so on. So you can see there are a lot of things. But out of all the courses which I'm showing here, if you just have two courses or one course, uh, this is what this slide talks about. So see, there are two approaches of learning AI. First is a top down. What it means basically, you see the things working, then you go and learn how things are built and how they are working. And the other one is that you learn all the fundamentals, maths, probability, and then you go and build the things and you see the result at the end, of course. And it depends on the personal preference. So you can pick and choose whatever. But as per my recommendation, I would say the option one, top down, works more effectively. It's like teaching somebody play baseball. You don't tell everything like dynamics of hitting the ball and friction in air and all those things right when you're teaching baseball to a kid. You just throw the ball and make them hit the ball, and then slowly once they get hang of, you tell more details and rules of the game and so on. And that's how the effective learning works. So I would say, if you're not a hardcore developer or professional already working in this domain, if you have to do just one course, do the top one. It is called the Practical Deep Learning Part 1 and Part 2 by Fast.ai. It's absolutely free and amazing community support. They have everything available, and it is one of the most vibrant community, and people there have done amazing things by doing just that free course. When I say amazing thing, they are like, they have become world class engineers, and they have jobs and top AI labs on the planet, and they are featured in a lot of magazines, tech conferences, um, and so on. So it is amazing resource. But if you're more of a bottom up person where you want to learn the fundamentals and then go on, first, then you should go to deeplearning.ai courses. These are mostly done by the Andrew Ang's team, and they're very world class. But be sure to understand that no matter which approach you take, you will know everything needed to know in both the approaches. It's just the matter of style. So I have suggested, if you're from not a hardcore computer science background, or for example, I've seen a lot of lawyers and doctors taking fast.ai course and doing amazing things. And so I would suggest, my personal preference is a top-down approach, fast.ai, but you can do both or choose one. So just remember this. Um, and then I just have 2 minutes, so I'll just skip quickly. So these are few of the important ways where you can engage with the communities. For example, we have a TensorFlow community and PyTorch and Fast.ai. Community is amazing. There are Reddit sub-channels. These are the few sub-channels which I have written. There's a Kaggle. Kaggle is amazing resource. If you have not heard of, just go and try it out. Stack Overflow, and the GitHub has a lot of discussion pages, and towards data science blogs you can read. And deeplearning.ai forum also has a lot of useful discussions. In fact, I happen to be one of the mentors there at deeplearning.ai since last 3+ years, I would say. So just check them out. Yeah, so this is the conclusion slide. I know I have talked a lot, but I just want to remember following things from this whole presentation. And that is, don't need to be a math PhD to work in AI profession. Just absolutely You don't need much math to work in this domain and be applied professional. Many types of roles needed in AI, not just engineers. In fact, all the roles needed in traditional software are needed in AI as well. Anybody who is working in tech industry can easily transition into AI. So you don't have to do much to transition into AI. The very basic few courses in are good to go. You don't need any MS or anything just to switch to. Building career in AI is a more of the gradual process. You can't do it just overnight. And a lot of free or almost free, best in the world resources are available, as I was sharing. Um, and adopt top down or bottom up both AI learning strategies, and they both work with same effectiveness. It's just a matter of personal preference. Networking and community will take you long way in AI than the books and courses, and that is very important thing which I have realized in last 9 years while working here in Silicon Valley with all the folks. So just remember this slide, I would say, is the most important thing which you should be doing. And these are my coordinates. You can very much feel mail me or engage with me. I'm more than happy to engage on Twitter, LinkedIn, or personally. You can email me. I'm more than happy to review your work, or you need some concrete advice. I'll be happy to engage. And then just the fun fact that all the images you saw in this presentation are generated by AI. In fact, this presentation which you're seeing, I have just written the text on the text file and the pasted in the AI tool, and it has generated the whole presentation for me. All the graphics, everything is generated by AI. You see all the images which you saw here. For example, this image, this layout, this image, everything is generated by AI. So it makes your presentation much more meaningful and impactful. So that's all from me, folks. If you have any more question, please do reach me, and I'm more than happy to engage. I see in chat. Um, yeah, so I purposefully did not discuss LLMs because I know LLMs are the rage of the world. But LLMs are just another AI software. You don't need anything special. While their LLM tools will assist you in doing your lot of job in today's work, and there are a lot of tools which will do the similar in computer vision. So it's a more of the specialization in field, but um, I think for the sake of time, I just kept it terse, and because I wanted this in this presentation to be more inviting to the folks that who are not willing to give it a try and think AI is something specific. AI is just another software field with little bit of specialization. And in fact, when people say I'm an AI product manager. Basically, you're a product manager. There's nothing special. You just need to know a little bit of AI. That's all. Um, so just that's all from my see. And there are a lot of tools like co-pilots and all, and they are yet to get production ready. They are advertised like that, but currently they are not. But they are good at assisting and like in terms of collaboration and so just give it a try. um, how can I use AI as a web developer? In fact, web developers are the most prime candidate to use the AI. In fact, there are a gazillion new AI startups where you can create the whole website just by writing the description. There's a company called Butternut.ai. You just write your website's description, it will have the whole site created in like 20 seconds, and you can push it to production in your hosting site or whatever. So just I would say first, it's called Butternut.ai. Butternut.ai, I would say. You can Google it. It's something like that. It's founded by somebody I met. Guys, I would say on the concluding note, this is the time to start this journey because it's going to affecting whole tech stack. And you please feel free to engage with me online, and I'm more than happy to talk to you and um, answer your questions or whatever. So that's all from me. I hope it was helpful. uh, Take care.